Hi there. We've been playing around with this idea of two islands and a boat, and we've seen that we can move from somehow a less preferred place towards a preferred place with the resources that we need to get there, and with reflection on what might get in the way and some idea of the amount of time it might take. And we've seen how our actions, action is purpose, how our actions also speak to our desire to move towards something else. I'd like to talk now about the notion of the narratives of our lives. The stories that we live in make such a difference to how we experience ourselves. I sometimes think of life as like a library. And if you think of a library shelf loaded up with books, and we've got lots of books that tell us who we are, many books, lots and lots of stories in our lives, and some of them aren't all that flattering, and that's true, you know. But some of them are, and some of them are innocuous. So it's like the metaphor here is the stories that we live in make a difference, and we can have some choice about making sure that our shelves are stacked with stories that kind of fit with who it is that we are hoping to become. Now, some of those stories are our own stories, directly from our own lives, and some of them are our cultural stories. Stories of faith, stories of belonging, stories of political movements, all sorts of stories larger than us that we participate in and which tell us sort of who we are and how we should be. And some of them are personal stories, things I've done and what that says about me. So part of our work as narrative therapists is to help people to make stories of who they are in terms of what it is that they desire. So if we look back at this picture here, this second island is like a site of identity claim. This is who I prefer to be. This is what I am wanting to become. This is my next goal. It seems to me that when we desire something, there's almost always a backstory to it. The fact that I would want to parent differently. There's almost always examples in my life and history where I have also desired that. This is not perhaps the first time I have desired that, and in the past I might well have taken some tentative steps in that direction. So the next piece that we're interested in talking about is called reauthoring, which is simply about gathering up stories from a person's life that somehow or other fit with whatever it is that they're hoping, whatever it is that they're moving towards. So we're going to use this diagram here. Let's say that this is an island. Let's call it peaceful parenting. I'm wanting to move from a way of being that this blueprint for parenting somehow wasn't peaceful, and I'm wanting to move towards some way of living in my family that's more peaceful. And we've looked at the effects of that. We could begin to ask, have there been any times at all in your life where you've experienced something like peaceful parenting with your kids? Have you ever been with your children and violence wasn't involved? Yes, of course. Yeah? Well, tell me about a time when that's happened. And so we can explore with people a story of a time when they did something with the children which was in keeping with this desired outcome.
So it's like we're taking one of these books off the shelf here.
We are. But it might be a forgotten book. I've seen this diagram. I think this comes from Alice Morgan's wee book, What is Narrative Therapy? Where we've got hundreds and hundreds of experiences in our lives, and we connect them together into stories. But there are gazillions of other experiences in our lives, and we can, in fact, connect up some other pieces, things that are forgotten, not storied. So the time I took my children fishing might be forgotten, might not be included in the story of my life. So this might be this story. Oh yeah, I took my kids fishing one time. So tell me all about that. What happened? Tell me the action. Where did you go? What did you use? What sort of bait did you use? What sort of fish are in the water? How did you know how to do that? Blah, blah, blah. Tell me that story. The more richly we tell that story, the more helpful it is. And then we can begin to wonder, as we're listening to that story, what kind of words describe you? What's this version of you that turns up there? Who are you becoming in that story? And it might be, helpful, skilled fisherman. I don't know.
But it could also be something about parenting.
It could well be something about parenting.
Yeah.
What might your guess be about parenting?
I don't know, a fun dad or, whatever.
Exactly, exactly. Having done that, we can ask, have there been any other times in your life where you've been around your children and it's been like playful or not violent or somehow or other that fits with this hope? Maybe there was a birthday party. Maybe there was a time you went shopping together.
Yeah.
Maybe when they were little you read them stories. Who knows? Yeah?
Yep.
The time we shared an ice cream.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what the stories are, so long as they fit with this. Let's get 3 such stories at least.
And they don't have to be big stories.
No.
Going with your examples just there.
No, they can be small stories. And forgotten stories.
Yeah.
But now what we're going to do is we're going to stitch together these stories into a new narrative, a new trajectory. For each one, we're going to sift out of those, what are you hearing about yourself? What does this say about the sort of person you are becoming? What are these skills? What are these hopes? What are these longings in your life?
Yeah.
Having done that, we're going to also ask from the outside, who knows this about you? Has anybody else seen this in you? Who would not be surprised to hear that you do this sort of stuff?
Do you ever go to stories in that sense that, maybe I saw my parents parenting?
That'd be
So
a
it
great.
could be other people's stories.
That'd be a
even.
great place to go.
Yeah,
Yeah. Any stories that kind of fit in your world that fit with this? Yeah.
Yeah.
True. So again, through the eyes of these people, what words would they use to describe you? What would they see in you that fits somehow with this? So we're building up an alternative description of the sort of person I am, alternative to this. In this place, the description might well be something like violent parent or
Yeah.
bad parent or
Yeah.
something wrong, anger management problem or some such thing. But in this here, we're highlighting something else that's true. Now, I'm not saying this isn't true.
No.
It is a story. It has happened. It is
Sure.
real. But it's not the only thing that's
No,
real.
It's not the whole truth.
It's not the So so yes, the story might well be true, but this one is true as well. And the more richly we tell this one, the more likely a person is to be able to step into it.
That's right.
So that's what we're doing here, is we're making visible alternative stories of a person's life so that they can step into it. Now we might ask, towards the end of this, we might ask, what are you hearing about yourself? How is this fitting with you? Does any of this sit okay with you? So that the person has a sense to say, yes, this is, in a sense, to claim for themselves. Yes, this is true about me, or I would want it to be true about me. So now I would ask, if we took that kind of that sense of identity and it was like a cloak that you put on or something that you held close to your heart, what difference would it make for your next steps?
Right.
Where might this be taking you? And that's the kind of reauthoring map. Thank you.